a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. As a volunteer, you deliver a hot, nutritious meal and a friendly hello to someone just like your mother, grandfather, or next door neighbor. These seniors are inspiring people with incredible stories to share, and they love to see you. The smiles you get back are priceless. Delivering with Meals on Wheels is easy, and you don't have to drive like me for it to be quick. You can volunteer your lunch break once a week or just once a month. With 1 in 6 seniors facing hunger and many more living in isolation, your lunch break can make a real difference. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
Okay, Simon, what are you wearing right now?
Nothing.
That's right. And what do people normally wear?
Clothes.
Exactly. So now Mommy's going to teach you how to dress yourself. Clothes keep us warm, they look good, and if we go out without them, the neighbors will talk. So it's important to know how to get dressed. Here's how it's done. Underwear always comes first, name tag at the back, then pants, then shirt. Get the first button in the right hole or you have to start all over. If you're wearing a tie, it goes over, round, through, and pull tight. Tuck your shirt into your pants and zip up your flap. Socks going first, then shoes right on right, left on left. With shoelaces, just take the ends, cross them over, switch the loops. The rabbit goes down the hole, pull tight, and you're left with bunny ears.
I love bunnies.
Good to know. Now remember, spots don't go with stripes, socks don't go with sandals, and if you've tucked in your shirt, wear a belt. Got it? Why are your pants on your head?
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But spending just 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier and could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. For fun 2-minute videos to watch while brushing, visit 2min2x.org. That's 2min2x.org. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
So you see, son, good manners are very, very important. Someday, many years from now, when you're a grown-up, you'll be a man. And when you are, you should be a gentleman. Do you want me to go through it one more time?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Exactly. Always say please, thank you, you're welcome, and excuse me. Sit up straight, hold doors open for ladies. If a door's shut, then knock first. Don't burp, don't swear, don't speak with your mouth full, don't reach across people's plates, keep your elbows off the table.
What table?
And don't interrupt. While we're at it, don't stare, don't use foul language, don't call people names, but do remember people's names. Always share your toys, play nice, and cover your mouth when you cough or sneeze. On the bus, give up your seat to anyone who has trouble standing bottom line. Treat others the way you'd like to be treated. Got it?
Got it.
And stop picking your nose.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But spending just 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier and could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. For fun 2-minute videos to watch while brushing, visit 2min2x.org. That's 2min2x.org. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
Hey, there he is. How's it going?
I'm having a stroke.
Are you going to shake my hand or what?
I'm having a stroke.
Wow, you're not even moving your arm.
I'm having a stroke.
Are you okay?
I'm having a stroke.
Your face looks weird too.
I'm having a stroke.
Are you having a seizure or something?
I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Cause that's the bottom line. The Stone Cold said so.
And so, goodbye. And good night, bang.
Settle! Because I'm better than you, and you know it. Just a man!
Now welcome to Off the Mats with Alex Lowe's and Josh Silverberg.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of the only wrestling talk show here every Saturday for the time being here on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Welcome to Off the Mat. Have no fear, the boys are here. Okay, well, there's two boys, and then there's Lyle. We'll get to that afterwards. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Josh Silverberg. Thank you, as always, to the fans for tuning and listening to us every single Saturday. We have a couple of announcements after, but of course, I have to introduce the team. First, to my left on the screen, I'm going to go my left on the screen, okay? That is Mr. Alex Lowe's. What's going on, man?
Nothing much, Josh. It's been an exciting week for wrestling. We had an amazing matchup at New Japan Pro Wrestling, the 6-man tag main event, which I'm excited to get into later. And we got AEW and NXT to kick things off. So stick with us here the whole way through the show. It's going to be great.
Yes, we do. And we also have a special guest that's going to be joining us in a few minutes as well. To my right. Oh, he's back. He's back full time now with us. Hey, what's up, boss?
Nothing
Mr.
much.
Lyle
Nothing much. I'm really
Gilliman.
excited to be here.
Of course, man. Listen, we're happy you're a part of this team now, dude. You have no idea how much insight that you add to the team and of course to the network as well. That's why we brought you on
should
here
be.
for sure. Relax, I said I am. I didn't say I should be. There's a difference between there, all right? Like a scale, okay? Before we do that, and before we get to having our guest come on to talk about AEW and NXT and everything like that, I know how excited she is. We have a few announcements, so boys, just bear with me for a few minutes. Of course, the first announcement is, how do you listen to and watch our show? Well, it's quite simple, okay? It's not hard, okay? A monkey can do it, okay? All you have to do is, if you have an iPhone, you go to the Apple Store, you type in WWSRN, and you download our app for free. If you have an Android, like myself, like Lyle does, Alex, I think you have an iPhone, right?
Yep, I have an iPhone.
You go to the Google Play Store and you type in Worldwide Sports, and it should pop up right there. And you click download, and what you do is you get all of our free articles, you get all of our show content, you get our clips from the show. If you missed the show, well, you could just re-listen to it. Okay, so don't let Lyle scare you. It's okay. All right, we want fans to generate more when they come and watch the show and listen to the show too. Okay, and what you do is there's also different shows, not just wrestling. You have different programs that you can listen and watch to, from the Ryan Hickey Show to Below the Mic to the Wise Guys to sports betting shows. All different stuff is out there that we love to give to you, the fans, who we appreciate so dearly each and every single day that our shows go live. And also, don't forget, you can also watch and listen to myself along with Errol Marks every Saturday night from 7 to 9 p.m. on 103.9 FM, Long Island News Radio, The Weekend Crunch. And if you missed that, you could also rewatch the show on our app. Also, check out our professionally done website, worldwidesportsradio.com. It's an unbelievable site. It's organized. It's easy. There's so much to. We actually have our own page on Off the Mat there, which I know we're going to be adding Lyle to the page real soon, which is going to be awesome. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter, Instagram, Periscope, YouTube. You name it, we're on it. All right. We love to hear from you, the fans, every single time we go live. All right. Also, we have also other announcements that were broken this past week. There's a few different changes that are happening. First off, starting March 2nd, okay, we have 3 more Saturday shows. The big breaking news, I believe, was broken yesterday. Correct? It was broken yesterday, Alex. Starting March 2nd, okay, Off the Mat is going prime time. Tuesday nights from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. We are now going to be 2 hours. We are going to be on a prime time slot now. The Saturdays are over. We're bringing on the Tuesdays. So, if you want to, hear us while, Impact Wrestling is going on Twitch, you can always multitask. It's very simple. Okay, I know I can multitask. I don't want to speak on these guys' behalf, but, I know I can. Also, the last thing. So, again, like I said, mark down your calendar. March 2nd, that will be our debut show on Tuesday from 8 to 10 p.m. We have guests coming on the next few weeks for our last 3 Saturdays, okay? It's crazy. We have current MLW middleweight champion and the former NXT Cruiserweight champion, Lio Rush, is joining us next Saturday. The following Saturday, the 13th, I believe, we have WrestlingInc.com. And if you don't know what Wrestling Inc. is, then you're lost, because it's the biggest, probably, news-breaking website out there for wrestling news and everything like that. Raj Giri, the owner of WrestlingInc.com, he is going to be joining us the following Saturday. And then on our last Saturday show ever, we have former Ring of Honor television champion and current #1 contender for the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Championship, Shane Taylor, is going to join us for our last Saturday show. We will be off the last week of February because what we're going to start doing is we are going to start prepping for that show, our Tuesday show. But don't forget, Leo Rush is on next week. Raj Jerry will be on in 2 weeks. And Shane Taylor will be on for our last ever Saturday show that we have here on the network. But we're not leaving. Just moving to a different time, and we're extending it by an hour. God bless you all for listening to us for an extra hour at that point. Okay? I pray for all of you. That's besides the point. Alex, I know we have our guest. I know she's eager. She's ready to go. So let's introduce her. Ladies and gentlemen, she does a big part here at the network. She's unbelievable at what she does. Okay? And I know she's all modest. Oh, you don't have to say all those kind words, but I'm going to say it anyway because I'm going to say it. She works her ass off at this network, okay? And she deserves the praise. I know this is the first time you're meeting Lyle. I'm sorry in advance. You've seen Alex before, of course. Ladies and gentlemen, the wonderful Miss Jillian Cohen. What's going on?
Not much. Thanks for having me on, guys. Happy to be back.
Of course. I wanted to give you that amazing intro because you don't know Lyle, I said, but Alex and I know how hard you worked for our show and all the work that you put in for all the shows here at the network, getting guests. And I'm going to throw Errol under the bus because I love doing it, especially because he's not here, so I can do it. Okay. Errol works everybody. Errol, especially you, he works you like a dog sometimes. I'm telling you. Okay. And I can tell you this, the amount of effort and work you put for Errol, I would never do that. So I'm going to throw that out there. I could care less because I know where he is right now. So I know he's not watching the show. Okay? So it's easy to insult
Not right now.
Not
Okay?
at the moment, but he can watch it again.
Hey, listen, if he wants to watch the show later, go for it. I'm here, man. I'm ready to go. You know what I mean? I'm here. You want to go? You know, he'll say, I'll kick your ass in 5 seconds when I knock on your door at your front door. That's what he'll say to me.
I'll come down and help him.
All right, listen, I'll tell you what. I don't back down. He says to me yesterday when we were recording, quick, as a joke, he said to me when we were recording the Weekend Crunch, he says, you better watch yourself or I'm going to send Speedy PD to your house. I said, that's
oh, boy. Here we
I
go
said,
now.
that's great. Does Speedy know that I have a restraining order against him now? So, Jillian, I know you wanted to come on the show because we have a lot to digest. And, of course, we want to start with AEW. And I know there was a segment on AEW Dark that I know you're dying to talk about. I know, Lau, you saw it. Alex, you saw it. I saw it. And it involved Brody Lee's son, -1, with the commentating when he told Excalibur to shut up, which was hysterical and comical. That's like how I talk to half my friends. So, I mean, it was awesome.
It's true. It's true.
The way -1 spoke to Excalibur, Lyle can attest to this, is the way I talk to my friends. Okay? Especially Lyle. Okay?
Yep.
But first off, Julian, I know you want to discuss it and talk about it with that segment. What is it that you loved about that segment so much that really engaged you as not just as a wrestling fan, but just as a spectator in general to get that good vibe when you're seeing how AEW is treating the Brody Lee's family?
Exactly. Just, to take off what you said, they, since this whole tragedy, this horrible thing happened to R.I.P. Brody Lee, hope all prayers and thoughts go out to him and his family, but the way that they're incorporating Brody Lee Jr. into all aspects, especially with the Dark Order, is just so nice to see that, they're taking him in as one of their own. This kid on Tuesday was a legit savage. It was the best thing ever. He just told Excalibur to shut up maybe about 100 times and just kept agreeing with Taz. And then he beat someone with a kendo stick. And I just go, can we please have more of this?
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
It's awesome. And then, I know, I believe Lyle sent me the video when it happened with Adam Cole was when Adam Cole was getting beat by him in the lobby in the hotel. And Ricky Starks is cheering him on. Lyle said that to me. So what I get from that, I want to let Alex and Jillian, Alex and Lyle get involved too. Is what it's amazing. You're not just seeing one company get involved with the love of Brody Lee, because I know, Lyle, you brought up the question to me about a month ago when you said, when Xavier Woods put out that tweet about how he would be watching AEW that night. How do you think Vince would react to that? I think that's kind of, ballsy and risky. And my response back to you was, I don't think Vince should have a say in what anybody watches that evening. I think wrestling, it should be a community at this point. And when a leader like Brody Lee is lost, I think as a whole wrestling community in general, everybody needs to come together. Alex, I know we discussed this when we had our tribute show to him.
Yeah.
And I think it's a necessary thing that no matter what brand you work for, he had a role all over where he was. I mean, this is a man dedicated himself.
He had different aspects in multiple promotions, and he was loved by everybody. Everybody saw him as a locker room leader. And he was very gifted and very talented. And that's one of the things people remember about Brody Lee the most.
Yeah. So, Lyle, I want to get your thoughts. When you, like Jillian said, because I know Alex brought it up, what he loved about this segment, Jillian pointed out, he was a total savage. He was, and Taz was laughing his ass off at it because the guy, what AEW did was they generally gave him a lifetime contract for when he's old enough to compete, he will be in AEW. So basically, he's set for life.
Pretty much.
He is. That's it. Exactly.
Yeah.
He's set for life. That is.
Well, if he wants to get into wrestling, he will have a contract there. If he doesn't want to, he doesn't have to.
Of course. I mean, it just seems like when you're kind of around it, like he's been. I mean, look, 6 years from now, things could change where he might come back and say, nah, maybe I don't want to do this. Maybe I don't want to be on the road 24/7. Maybe I don't want to, I saw how hard my dad worked to get where he was at, being away from the family and stuff, and maybe it's not ideal. But I want to ask all of you guys this question. When you see the response that -1 is having on the Dark Order stuff, and clearly Dark Order they're now faces, they're not heels anymore, which is the right way to go at this point.
Yeah, it's the right thing to do.
Awesome.
The direction to go.
Julian, I'll start with you first. What you're seeing, like the Hangman Page stuff and everything like that, do you like where the Dark Order stuff is going, or do you think there's still improvements that could be done? What are your thoughts on how you feel it's going?
Well, I do like where they're going, but, everything does have its improvements that, nothing is perfect. If it was perfect, then it wouldn't be entertaining. But, I think, with the way that they're going now, like once again, since, the passing of Brody Lee, you've seen a lot more of them now, so they're more at the forefront of AEW than they even were before. And that is getting them more exposed. Everybody now knows more who they are. But just the different things that they're doing, like they're all coming out now. They're all making the Dark Order symbol every single time they step out. It's, you're seeing more of them, and that allows people, let's say that someone know who Brody Lee was from WWE, and they may not watch AEW, but once they see, the Dark Order and what they're doing, especially with -1, that really brings something to them, and it makes them more appealing to people because you're seeing them take in his son, and it leaves you with a good feeling.
Absolutely. Alex, what are your thoughts on the way the Dark Order is going about everything in the future of the group in general?
I like the route the Dark Order are going currently, and as Jillian said, it's having them as faces is a good way to go, even after all the tragedy that they have faced with Brody Lee. And I like how they are slowly building towards being full-time faces. And I think it's very interesting. I think it's adding a different element to the group. And it's also bringing in -1 and allowing Brody Lee's son to do stuff on the show is amazing. And I like that they keep including him, because if he like you said, if he wants to be a part of AEW in the future, he might. But if not, it's his choice,
Lyle, your thoughts, and then we're going to move on to another topic for AEW for sure.
I think it's the right move, but I've been asking for them to make them faces for a while, ever since they've been getting really over from BTE, because a giant portion of the audience doesn't watch BTE. They get about 300,000 viewers in an episode.
I miss him on BTE, by the way.
That's just about half. Oh, he was great.
Oh,
But
he was
John Silver has really showed what he's capable of through BTE. How funny he is. He showed his personality, and I'm so happy that they're showing that side of him on Dynamite. I've been asking for it for a while, even before Brody. But yeah, he's a great character, and I'm very excited to see where Dark Order goes. And I don't think the Heyman Dark Order stuff is done. I think that will continue, but they're going to slow burn. But I like where they're going so far.
So I want to ask you guys this. Let's move on to another point of with Dynamite and everything like that. And we are constantly going back and forth on this. Now I missed the show the last 2 weeks. Now I miss what Lyle said because I'm curious what Lyle thinks about this, with the whole Sting and Darby Allin thing. And the thing of it is this: Darby Allin is currently my favorite wrestler in AEW. Sting is my favorite wrestler of all time. So, of course, for me, I guess I'm kind of being biased when I say I think it can work, but they need to continue the trend of, figuring out what they want to do with Sting. If maybe he's not with Darby for forever, where do they go from there? But I think Sting is going to ultimately be with Darby Allin what Arn Anderson is to Cody. So, Lyle, I'll start with you first. I know you're against it.
I'm going to correct you. I'm against it if he's his manager.
Oh,
because
that's a big part I missed on you there, Pally.
Because you said you said you wanted him to be his manager. I'm going to tell you that's a terrible idea. Because the entire mystique about he's doing cinematic matches. Yeah, he's in a street fight with Darby Allin.
Oh God!
The entire mystique of Crow Sting is he was always quiet.
Yes.
So you take a guy who's quiet and then you put him as a manager. I think it's terrible. You're just putting him in the corner and he's standing there doing nothing at that point. If he's gonna be Sting and who's great on the mic, he's very good at talking, then he should be more like how me and you saw him when we went to Access. No face paint, wearing a suit, had the goatee. He's that look. If he's doing that, it can work.
I had that picture up right here.
If he looks like that, it can work. Crow Sting is a terrible, terrible idea for a manager, and he's just there to bump up viewers at that point. That would be terrible. It would be stupid. It would be dumb. It would be idiotic. Every word for stupid, I am going to put that in there.
I struck a nerve.
I think it is terrible.
No, listen, I agree. I want to get Alex and Jillian's take on this too, but I agree with you, Lyle, to the sense that if he is a manager with the face paint and everything like that, it would look foolish and silly and meaningless. Because first off, it takes him, I'm sure, hours to put his face paint on just to sit at ringside for 5 minutes for a match would be ridiculous.
Now, hold on, I want to interrupt you for 1 second.
Okay.
Now I don't remember exactly, but was Sting in Main Event Mafia?
Yes, he was in TNA. Yes,
and
he was.
So if he didn't have
2
the face
times
paint for
he
that.
was in. No, he did not. He was in Main
If
Event
he
Mafia.
did that style of character for manager, I think it would work.
No, I agree with you. Because like you said, I think putting on face paint for 6 hours just to be a manager on ringside for 5 minutes would be stupid.
I agree.
Alex, go for it, Alex.
I agree with Lyle. I agree with you, Josh. I think having him in a suit and not without the face paint is a good idea because when he's dressed as Crow Sting and he's just standing there the whole time, it's not really giving the fans it's not giving the fans what they want. It's not giving them a good output. And AEW is losing the grip on Sting with that. And I think it's the best route to go with Sting would be that gimmick. What did you say it was, Lyle, from TNA?
Main Event Mafia.
Main Event
Mafia. I think he needs to go if it's a style of that gimmick and be in Darby Allin's corner and be a mouthpiece for Darby Allin, not just stand there and hit people with the bat when Darby Allin's down. I think there needs to be a better direction with that.
I agree. Jillian, what are your thoughts on the whole connection between you? I mean, you've heard a lot of opinions now. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, well, I do agree with Lyle and Alex. I do think, if you have Sting with the face paint on, you're looking at him as being Crow Sting. You're not looking at him as being, maybe just Darby Allin, like Darby Allin's manager. Just take off the face paint, have him with a suit on, because when I see when I see Sting with the makeup on, with the bat, I automatically think, someone could come out of the tunnel or something could happen in a match, and he would just hit someone with a bat or do something. But when you have a manager kind of Sting, it's more of a refined Sting, but it's separating his wrestler side and a manager side, which would be very interesting to see him play the two different dimensions of Sting.
I like it. All right, so let's get to our last question. Then we're gonna get to NXT after, and I'll start with Alex on this one first. I know Lyle's excited about this one because with Revolution, I think we're kind of getting the feeling of what the championship match is going to be. Now, I don't want to jinx it because Lyle will be devastated if it doesn't happen. But I think I know where we're going with this. You're seeing a Pac, Kenny Omega. I mean, Lyle was so excited. He called me the other night about saying how excited he was.
Yes, I did.
He was excited about it. He said, "Oh my God, this is happening." It's
I do have a quick question for Josh. So the Young Bucks announced on Dynamite that they are going to be in the Tag Team Rumble, and the stipulation is, if they win, they get to pick who they go up against for their titles.
G1
at Revolution.
It's G1
at Revolution.
essentially like G1, where if you win and you're the champion, you get to pick your opponent.
Yeah.
But if they don't win the Battle Royal, then the people who win the Battle Royal get to go up against them. So I'm asking. So what I'm asking Josh is, who would you like to see the Young Bucks go up against? Who do you think is going to win that Battle Royal?
I mean, I think this is kind of setting up for, I don't want to say it's too obvious, but I mean, I think the Good Brothers are going to be in this Rumble, and I think it's going to be the Good Brothers versus the Young Bucks at Revolution, which would be a cinematic type match. Because what I do think is going to happen is one of two things. I think the Young Bucks are going to, what I do think could happen is I think the Young Bucks are going to win the match. The Good Brothers will not be in the match, and they're going to pick the Good Brothers to fight them at Revolution, or the Good Brothers sneak in, they eliminate the Young Bucks to win the match, therefore they get the Young Bucks. It's going to be one of those two ways. I think it's kind of it's almost like it's obvious, but it's a good obvious because it's going to be an entertaining match. See, that's the difference between like what WWE does and what AEW does. Whereas WWE, it's obvious. It's like, oh crap, we're doing this again. AEW is doing this, and it's like, hey, okay, I could get behind the Good Brothers versus the Young Bucks at Revolution. Like that
Did you
idea.
Did you say you think it's going to be a cinematic match? Is that what you said, Josh?
I mean, like cinematic in the sense it's going to be a very entertaining and good match. Not like cinematic and it's going to be like a stupid gimmick.
Okay. I was going to say that'd be stupid as can be.
No. Listen.
If I take two tag teams of that quality and put them in a cinematic match, I would slap Tony Khan myself.
Yeah, well, there's a difference. When I say cinematic, I mean something that's very good to watch. What WWE cinematic theory is, hey, we're going to make this a gimmick match and see where it goes. So
WWE didn't create that. That was created before WWE popularized by Matt Hardy. That term.
All right, Mr. Know-It-All. Thank you so much for that information.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Josh, now what to tail off of what you said, I wanted to see if you guys had the same feeling that I had at the end of Dynamite on Wednesday. You kind of had that feeling when the Young Bucks kind of turned to the Good Brothers, that there was some tension, and I kind of thought, okay, if they win, I could see that it's going to be them versus the Good Brothers for 100% sure.
The moment Lyle said he was so excited about this Bullet Club reunion coming back, and I said afterwards, there's something fishy about this.
Yeah, there is.
Reunion.
Yeah, that's
because
the
Young Bucks, they didn't look like, they did the Too Sweet thing, but they kind of did it in a way where they were like, oh God, we don't have a choice here. I'll just do it. Like,
they kind of looked like they were kind of forced to do it, or that they didn't really want it.
Also,
this was never going to last.
I don't know if you put the puzzle pieces together, but on Dynamite, they said Bullet Club.
Mm-hmm.
Now, everyone said, because technically the first time they never said Bullet Club on Dynamite. They said the band. Now, everyone said after Hard to Kill, when they all came out in Bullet Club gear, it's because Impact is going to be having a New Japan agreement. That's the rumor. And they are allowed to do it there, but they're not allowed to do it in AEW. Well, now they officially said the word Bullet Club, which isn't really a first, but they have said Bullet Club. which is an owned name by New Japan.
Mm-hmm.
On Twitter, Kenny Omega was talking crap to Ibushi. And on Twitter, Tama Tonga replied saying, talking to him, pretty much hinting that he wanted Kenny Omega.
Yes, he's been wanting
And
him for a while.
And on last night, you alluded to it earlier, Jon Moxley was on New Japan Strong.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And the AEW Twitter account retweeted it and quoted it and put it out there. My question is the forbidden door open?
Oh, let me tell you something. If this happens, kudos to Tony Khan for making this happen, if that happens. Because, there is still that agreement where I believe Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks.
It's in his contract. Yes.
It's in their contracts where they could still make one-off appearances with New Japan as they so choose. The problem is they haven't chosen to do that.
Well, they couldn't for the last year.
No,
and if Wrestle Dynasty is in the U.S., if Wrestle Dynasty happens and it's in August after the vaccine is supposed to reach most of the U.S., I think it is very possible that they could, in theory, do it.
Well, I will tell you this: I got my first dosage this past week. So if Wrestle Dynasty happens, I'll be there.
I will definitely be there.
I'll be there. I'll tell you that much. I know Alex is saving up because he wants to come to New York.
Yeah, I've never been to a New Japan show at Madison Square Garden, but I've seen I've seen clips and pieces on YouTube. It looks phenomenal. It looks insane.
I will join you guys as soon as I get the vaccine.
Let me tell you something, dude. I have my buddy Keith, who's out here. He was telling me, if you guys go to Wrestle Dynasty, I want a ticket. I want in. I said, we're gonna have a group of 10 people. I'm going to this first show at this point.
It's gonna keep growing.
We're gonna have the whole first row.
We're gonna have the whole first row.
We're gonna have the whole stadium, but we're gonna have all Madison Square Garden at the time.
If they want to social distance the crap out of everybody, go for it. I'll stay in my own bubble. I'll tell you that.
They don't in Japan. They don't do it in Japan. They don't social distance at all.
No, they don't.
But you're not allowed to make a noise. That won't happen in the United States at all.
So I know, what is it? We have to go to a break in about 2 minutes. I do want to get in NXT really quick, with them and everything like that.
I do have a question for Josh about NXT. We saw the start of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, the second round. MSK taking on Killian Dane and Drake Maverick. MSK has been doing an amazing job off their debut in the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. And they really went to work on Killian Dane in that match. I was really, really surprised of how they were able to keep up with somebody like Killian Dane in the matchup. Because with Killian Dane's size, speed, and agility, it's really hard to match up your moves with somebody of that size. And MSK did a really good job of that.
I agree. I mean, look, the thing about MSK is this: they were so good at Impact, and of course they're missing their top guy, which is Trey Miguel, who's their top guy. He has stayed on in Impact. Well, the other guys, they went, which is totally fine. I mean, that was his choice, obviously. But MSK is still an unbelievable get for NXT, because I've been saying this for months. The problem with NXT's tag team division is all the top tag teams are pretty much gone except for the Undisputed Era, and they are now bringing over what it looks like to be Imperium is going to be making more appearances in NXT, which I think is a very smart idea for NXT, because they need all the help they can get right now with their tag team division.
Exactly.
They need it. They need it. And Imperium.
They need fresh faces.
They do. And to see, you won't listen.
They need a mega heel.
What do you say?
They need a mega heel. They need Walter there.
Yeah, they do.
I said it last week. They need a heel stable now now that Undisputed is not in that role, and The Way would be horrible in that role. But Imperium, which gives off that vibe that is a very, very much you want to hate, and I think that they would go off very well as being the heel.
Well, I just like to see, because I watch NXT UK. So to me, I'm able to follow it, and I'm able to watch, and I see all the talent that NXT UK has. I mean, and the thing about it is that, you're like, some of their divisions are very, they don't have the deep roster like other companies do. That's just what it is. I mean, So Walter needs a new challenge because Walter has beaten pretty much all the big names at NXT UK. And I think what this does is this gives him now fresh rivalries now against other people.
Exactly.
We've wanted to see the match forever. We have wanted to see Finn Balor go up against Walter for quite some time now. People have been clamoring for it. I know I have for the last year, been pounding the table saying, let's make this happen. You know what I mean? And it would work really well. And people are like, well, how would that work? Finn Balor versus Walter. Well, if you didn't watch Walter versus Will Ospreay, then clearly you could see Walter can work with really any. Pete Dunne, he's double the size of Pete Dunne, Walter. Doesn't matter the size of the guy. It matters how well you can work with the person.
Exactly.
Some guys can work well with others, some can't. You know, and that's just the way it is in this business. Walter is the type of guy that if you put him up with the match with Tyler Bate, there was a match of the year candidate at NXT UK. Where were they? Cardiff. That was a match of the year match that they had with him and Tyler Bate. It was awesome. I thought it was great.
Yes.
And you know what I mean? That's something that Walter has the opportunity, I think, to really shine. Because when they do takeovers, people will now have more of a reaction to Walter. When Lau and I were at NXT TakeOver New York, people really didn't have a reaction to Pete Dunne versus Walter. And I was extremely disappointed with that because I said to myself, I don't think people realize what they're getting. This is a European dream match.
The reason is because on major takeovers and the Mania takeovers and the big events, a lot of those people are people who only watch the main roster for the most part and only watch the takeovers.
Exactly.
They don't watch the weekly product. That's why NXT has 600,000 viewers, because the main roster fan base only watches the main roster because they're not wrestling fans. And I'm going to get heat for that, but they're not. And so when Walter comes out, the only people who are going to react are the people who came over from the United Kingdom because they know him, or the people who actually pay attention to wrestling and watched New Japan when he was in there for a little bit, or watch UK wrestling outside of that in general. That's the only people that would have had a reaction from that in that environment.
Absolutely.
Not the normal main roster fan.
I agree. So, all right. So we got to get to a break. I know we're over the time for sure. Jillian, we want to thank you so much, of course, for joining us. Thank you for all the tough work that you're putting in for the show. And listen, don't be a stranger. When we move to 8:00 on Tuesday nights, we definitely want to have you come on again.
I will be there. You bet.
So when we come back, we are going to get into the Royal Rumble. We're going to get into New Japan. There's a lot to talk about. We're going to give our predictions on who we think will win the Rumble. And we'll also tell you what surprises we think could win the Royal Rumble. But they probably won't because it's WWE. This is Off the Mat on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. We'll be right back.
Of course my kid's in the right car seat. Well, I think he is.
Yeah, my kid's in a booster seat. He was ready to move up. He is ready, right?
Her car seat looks like the right size.
There are probably rules on when to move up to a booster seat, aren't there?
Rear facing, forward facing. I think I have it right.
Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Are your children in the right car seat for their age and size? Don't think you know. Know you know. Go to safercar.gov/the right seat.
I know my child's in the right car seat, or else I wouldn't get in the driver's seat.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
You don't usually get a stock tip from a 16-year-old, but I'm here to tell you about a different kind of stock. It's called Better Futures, a stock for social change that's not about making money. Instead, you invest to help students like me go to college. This is beyond a simple donation. It's the opportunity for America to invest in its kids and take an active stake in the future of the country. The return on your investment isn't money. What you get back is knowing you protected our potential. So one day, that potential can grow up to become surgeons and architects, executives and engineers, people who can change the future just by being a part of it. My name is Alicia, and I'm your dividend.
Invest in better futures with UNCF. Visit uncf.org/invest. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. A public service announcement brought to you by UNCF and the Ad Council.
This is Nnamdi Asamoah. I play football for the Philadelphia Eagles, but what I do off the field with United Way might be more important. I'm a volunteer tutor and mentor. Why? Because over 1 million kids a year drop out of school, and that's not okay. It takes 12 years to create a graduate, but it takes about the same time to create a dropout. And the difference between a child becoming one or the other could be me, or it could be you. Studies show that if we get to these kids earlier, their chances are better. And kids who read well by 3rd grade are more likely to graduate. So join me in United Way. Suit up and take the pledge. Become a volunteer reader, tutor, or mentor. Because when a child succeeds, we all succeed. Give, advocate, volunteer, live united. Take the pledge at unitedway.org. Brought to you by United Way, the Ad Council, and the National Football League.
They'll challenge your authority. They'll try to break your will. They'll push you to the edge of your sanity. Because that's what kids do. But this car is your territory, not theirs. Defend it. Who makes the payments? Who cleans it? Who drives it? You do. That's who. And in here, your word is law. So when you say you won't move until everyone's buckled up, you won't budge an inch. Until you hear that click. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. For more information, visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup.
Let's go inside the mind of a 10-year-old.
I should have worn those earrings today. I like those earrings. Gabby has those awesome earrings. I need to ask her where she got those, but that's just what she would want me to do. I'll have Michaela ask her for me.
Buckle up, Sarah.
Yeah, but then Michaela will be like, why don't you just ask her yourself? That's just like Michaela.
Sarah, buckle up.
Michaela's such a great name. I wish I was called Michaela. There's like a dozen Sarahs in my class.
Hey, we're not hitting the road until you buckle up, honey.
Oh yeah, seatbelt. I forget sometimes because my brain is like busy, you know? I wonder if there's pizza at school today.
Sometimes it can be tough to get through to your kids, but it's not impossible. Always make sure they're wearing their seatbelts, even on short drives. Remember, you have the keys, you have the power. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. Visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup for more information.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Everybody's got a price. Rest in peace.
Welcome back to Off the Mats with Alex Lowe's and Josh Silverberg.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Off the Mat. I'm Alex Lowe's. With me is Josh Silverberg on my right and Lyle Gillen. And now we are going to get into our Royal Rumble preview, and we're going to talk about the 30-man Royal Rumble. And this is pretty interesting because there are a lot of good people in the mix for this men's 30-man Royal Rumble, Josh.
There's a ton. I mean, it's just a matter of how is WWE going to do this? How are they going to portray it? Do they ever get the decision right? That remains to be seen. That remains to be seen. I think there's a couple of questions, because we're also going to talk about the women's match too. A question I have for you guys is, now it's a 3-parter. I'll leave it to Alex first. Who do you think will win the Royal Rumble? Who do you think should win the Royal Rumble? And who is a surprise you think can win the Royal Rumble? And give me answers as to why to those 3 questions.
So I picked Edge at number 1 because Edge has the most unique Royal Rumble record. if you look at his record, he has 20 eliminations in his whole Royal Rumble wrestling career. I think he has the best chance of staying in and getting some quick eliminations because of how fast he can move and change his directory in the match. And I think he's the one to do it this year. I really think he is the top guy to win.
Lyle, your thoughts. Who do you think is going to win the Royal Rumble and why?
Now I have one question. Is the full 30 known?
No, I don't believe
30.
so. I don't believe the full.
No,
Okay,
it's
then
not-
I
it's not the
think
full 30.
Goldberg is gonna win.
Oh no!
No, not Oldberg.
No,
I think it's gonna be
Goldberg.
Goldberg.
I like
Not
that.
Oldberg.
I don't want him to. I don't want him to. I don't think I don't want him to. I want him to. I don't want him
Hold
to.
on.
But I think
Alex,
he will.
Alex, we need a T-shirt created for that.
Oldberg?
We need Oldberg. We need that. How did we never think of that nickname for him?
That's a known nickname. Everyone calls him that.
Everyone calls him Oldberg.
Everybody calls him Oldberg? Never
Yes.
heard that. That's the
Do you
first
live
time.
under a rock?
When it comes to Goldberg in the news, yes, I do. I try to for my own sanity. Dude, like Twitter and all these places, dude, they're so toxic. I try to stay under a rock for certain things. I never heard Oldberg before. You know what I mean, dude? But it's like, oh, Lyle, you said Goldberg. But he's wrestling McIntyre, though. You think he's going to be in the Rumble match, too?
I think if he loses, because the rumor was they want to still do him versus Reigns. So if he loses to McIntyre, I could very much see him going out in the Rumble and winning. Or him winning the belt and then going and facing Roman Reigns and it'll be billed as them unifying the belts, and he'll lose and Roman will win.
So here's who I think is going to win the Royal Rumble, and I'll give you a scenario as to why I think it would be. And I think it would actually be a very good scenario, and I think it's the one that they should go with. The guy I think that should win the Royal Rumble is Brock Lesnar, and what I think they should do is they should have Brock Lesnar win the Royal Rumble, go to SmackDown and challenge Roman Reigns, and I want to see where Paul Heyman is in this whole thing. I want to see where Paul Heyman... Hold on.
The one question is, does he want to stay in Florida? Because he can't go back into Canada.
Well, the thing is...
I thought about that, too.
No, but the thing is that Brock could win the match and then just not be on TV for the next 2 months.
But he can't go back to Canada. But he can't go back to where he lives in Canada. He can't go back there. He would have to stay down in Florida.
I mean, look. It's up to how much money Vince is going to pay him, right?
Like, no, you're right about that. But like, I don't know if Brock would want to stay in Florida and do nothing. I don't know.
Brock doesn't.
I'm pretty sure he lives in Canada. Yeah.
No, I thought it was in Idaho. He lives in. He lives in a private place in Idaho. That he lives. He has a farm.
I heard he lived in Canada.
I have to look. I'll look it up.
With the Royal Rumble. With the Royal Rumble, here's an interesting twist to my list here. Is I have John Morrison at number 5, and I put him at number 5 because there's like no chance of getting John Morrison to win the Royal Rumble because he's extremely talented in everything. I know he's a great wrestler, great grappler, performance-wise, but there's a small chance of him winning because he's not as over as he used to be. Like, think about 2010, 2011, that time of wrestling in WWE when John Morrison was completely over with the Vans. We don't see that from John Morrison anymore.
Now, is this your surprise on who you think? This is your surprise, or who you think should win it?
This is who should win it, and then my surprise would be AJ Styles.
Okay, I like that.
AJ Styles, he hasn't. I don't think he's won a Royal Rumble yet.
No, he has not.
No. So I would love to see him get a win if Nakamura or Edge somehow don't make it through. But Styles, he debuted at the Royal Rumble in 2016, so it would only make sense to have him win this year.
Lyle, who do you think should win it, and who is your surprise on who you think could win it?
I think it should be Nakamura.
Mm-hmm.
He's over right now. He got over in that segment when they brought his team back. My surprise, actually, I'm going to make it two-part. It should be either Nakamura or Owens. Those are two people who should win it. They need to have that. They need to make another main event star. The company desperately needs that, and my surprise would be Rollins.
Okay, I like that. So who I think should win it. It's interesting. Lyle brought up some very good names. I liked your theory on Morrison too, Alex. I did, because when John Morrison came over back to WWE, he was a huge hit. It was a hit in Impact
For a short time,
underground,
yeah.
and he
For a
was
really short time.
I'm with Lyle. I think Nakamura is a guy that I think he, like you said, he's so over right now. He's earned the right to have his run. And I think another guy I think that should win it in my eyes is Daniel Bryan, because Daniel Bryan is, once again, he's over, and he's a guy that everybody loves. He's somebody that can carry the load in the company. I mean, that's just really what it comes down to. A surprise for me, Big E. I think Big E is a guy. Big E is so over right now. He is so over. First off, what Big E has done, his talent is undeniable. It is. For his size and his agility and his stature, to do the things that he does is incredible. Go look at his Smack Talk segments he's had with Paul Heyman the last month. They've been incredible. This is what Paul Heyman does. Paul Heyman makes magic. Even if he doesn't work with the person on television, he makes magic. Yeah. And look at Apollo Crews now. Apollo Crews is now going to be one of the biggest heels in this company in the next few weeks. You'll see. The thing of it is that Big E is so over right now that I would love to see a match with him and Roman Reigns. Because, look, let's be realistic. When Kofi Kingston beat Daniel Bryan 2 years ago, people were ecstatic about it. I was one of them. We were at that match. It was a great feeling. Because Kofi earned that right to win that match and to have his moment. Big E has earned the right to have his moment and win a big match. He deserves it. We talk about the New Day and everything like that. In my opinion, Big E, out of the three guys, Kofi, Xavier, and Big E, I think Big E was the most popular one, because what he brought, his mic work was phenomenal. Look at what he could do in the ring, and look at his mic work. He's hysterical on the mic. He's funny. You can't, and he's. I would love to see him and Roman go back. I would love to see a match with him and Roman. Now I know people are saying, I even heard one person say, "What about? Do you think The Rock will be in it?" But they're going to save The Rock for when they go to Los Angeles.
WrestleMania.
For Los Angeles in 2 years, when they can have a full stadium at SoFi.
Yeah,
it's going to be in Los Angeles, and that's going to be a massive, massive, massive hit. That match, Roman and The Rock at SoFi Stadium. That's going to be one of the better main events WrestleMania will ever have, because those two together will make it good. But to me, I think a guy that should win it, I think, like I said, is Shinsuke. Another is Daniel Bryan. And a guy that could surprise is Big E. I think it's time. I think it's time to let him have his moment for sure. Let's talk about the women's match. I mean, this is going to be a fascinating, because I don't think there's ever been a time where it's been more open. I
disagree with that.
Really?
I think it's very obvious who's going to win. I think it's very obvious it's going to be Charlotte.
I completely disagree.
I think it's extremely obvious. They're going to do a quote. They're going to have her win, and then the tag team titles they're going to lose the tag team titles, and then they're going to face each other at Mania.
Nope. I don't think they're going to go that route. Nope. Alex, what do you think?
I don't think they're going to go that route, but I heard there's a rumor of for the women's Royal Rumble, they're bringing in a surprise entrance like Kelly, Caitlyn.
I love Kelly back. No objections from me.
Yeah, I know, you weirdo. You're like a little pervert, you nut job. Speaking of restraining orders, I think she still has one against you, pal.
Have her autograph.
Even on Instagram. To me, I got this. There's this vibe that I have. Like, I don't know what it is. One or two people is going to show up. To me, I think I don't know if Ronda's going to come back.
Oh, here's a big one I just thought of.
And the other's Becky Lynch.
I love Ronda. I would love for her to come back.
I tell you,
I'd watch the main roster again if she came back.
I got to tell you, there's a feeling I have that she's going.
I was thinking of who's not on. She was on Impact. She's not anymore because she dropped the belt.
God, Tessa.
Tessa Blanchard, yes.
I don't think she will. She's still in Mexico.
Yeah, that's the thing. She's still in Mexico. Well, look, we say that, but who knows where she is now? Isn't that the point of a surprise? We don't know.
You're right there.
Yep.
I like that by Alex. That was, I don't know. There's just I have this vibe that either Ronda's going to come back because Vince is going to beg her to come back, because you have to understand this year's WrestleMania is going to be live in a football stadium this year. Yeah, and it's going to be a tough draw with the virus and the pandemic still going on. That they're going to, and it's in a. Alex, I know you live in Florida. No disrespect to Florida. Listen, Alex, and like I said, Tampa is not what New York, Vegas, California, those places are that have those places where people can go and see and do sightseeing. And they don't have like what's the New York has Manhattan, California has Los Angeles, Vegas has the Strip. There's certain, Louisiana has Bourbon Street in New Orleans.
Times Square.
You know what I mean? That's why I said that. It's that's it. That's okay. Tampa is a tougher sell because they don't have that place where you could go. And I love Tampa, Florida. Love Tampa. They don't have that place where you could go sightseeing.
Never been.
What they need, well, you won't go this year either. So, yeah, I mean, technically, we
were supposed to go last year to Mania. So for people who don't know,
hey, but you know what though?
No, you haven't told me.
We'll save it for LA in the next 3 years.
I'd rather go to Dallas, to be honest. I'd rather go to Dallas.
I don't want. No way. Are you crazy? LA is so much better. Ugh.
No, I want to go to Dallas. Dallas is a great city. I want the food.
How would you know?
Yeah. Everything I've heard about Dallas, it's a great city. I know people who went there.
All right.
If I had to
I want to go to Dallas.
If I had to treat LA and Dallas, good. Then you could go to Dallas on your own time.
See ya. Bye. Okay. Have fun. I'm going to Dallas. I'll go with Scott and Gentleman.
That's cool. Alex will go with me to LA.
Yeah, I actually want to see The Rock pass the torch to Roman.
Exactly. Plus, you would get Rock Roman in LA.
Mm-hmm.
You would get Rock Roman. You're not going to get that in Dallas.
No, and you're not
going to you'll get Triple H versus John Cena.
Goldberg. Triple H Goldberg.
Yeah, agree.
Goldberg.
Yeah, but like I said, going back to what we were talking about before, I think just Ronda or Becky to me are one of the two that I still have in my head. I think is going to be a surprise and win this match, and they need to have a draw for Tampa. Remember, it's 2 nights, so they have to have 2 main events.
2 main events.
Well, people are speculating they could bring Taker back.
I saw that, but then there were reports that people within the WWE said he's done. They have said.
I hope so. I want him to be done. I think it's better for him. But.
So let's get. I know.
Let's get into New Japan.
Want to talk about New Japan a little bit. So Alex, lead the way.
Yeah. So we had New Japan New Beginning Day 6. We had the 8-man tag match with Yuji Nagata, Tiger Mask, Yota Tsuji, Togi Makabe against Bullet Club. Then we had the United Empire, Will Ospreay, and the Great Khan versus Hiroshi Tenzan and Kojima, which ended in a no contest. And here's the interesting thing about that. The show from last night, they announced that the match that was declared a no contest, the next match was going to be a no DQ match. So they had a no DQ match last night, and I'm very interested to see how that turned out. And then we had the 6-man tag match. Chaos defeated Bullet Club. Los Ingadores de Japan defeated Master Wato and Hanma. 6-man tag match, which ended in a time limit draw. And it was an amazing matchup. Both teams, they showed a lot of intensity and grit. And they went to great lengths to beat each other to really win the match. But the clock ran out. There just wasn't enough time to finish because of how much they were going back and forth. And I would have rather seen someone win that match, but I think the reason why they didn't let somebody win that match is because they're saving time for Kota Ibushi versus Sonata on February 11th.
Well, the thing what I want to get into is because I know we have to end the show in a few minutes, but I do, because we're gonna have Leo Rush on next week. And what I want to ask Leo is, because if you've noticed the trash talking back and forth between him and ELP on Twitter this morning has been very fascinating.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
That match would be amazing. If they faced, I want that.
Well, and that's the thing. What I want to ask Leo next week is, I know you're contracted in MOW, but what is your working relationship with New Japan? What's going on there? If when the pandemic, when it's over and everything, the travel restrictions are lifted, are you going to New Japan? Is that in your future? Are you going to fight Hiromu Takahashi? Are you going to fight Taiji Ishimori? Are you going to take on those guys? I need to know, because if that's the case, you can make the case that Leo Rush is arguably the most athletic one in the junior division.
Exactly.
And I think he would fit the bill really well.
I definitely think he would fit very well.
I think he'd be perfect there. I think I actually called that when me and you did our old show and we predicted where everyone who got released would go. I think I said he would go to Japan.
I think we all. I know.
We might have all done that.
We all did. I think Scott. I think Scott said it too. I think we all said New Japan because it was just so obvious. Because it was just a perfect spot for him, I think. And I think, look, I mean, talked about John Moxley too, coming back with Kenta.
I want to know from Leo. I want to ask him, what if he had to compare backstage at WWE to backstage at MLW and backstage in Japan? What is it like, and what's the difference between those companies? I'm very interested, because there's a lot of rumors on what it is, but no one really talks about WWE backstage or New Japan backstage. I would love to have him and tell us what the biggest difference is and what the environments are like.
I mean, he's also wrestled. I mean, you gotta remember, he's also wrestled in Combat Zone Wrestling, which is a more of a.
I think he did Impact for a tiny bit, also, right?
He was. Yep, he was.
Yes, CZW was more extreme.
And Ring of Honor too. He was in Ring of Honor for a tiny bit of time, so he's wrestled all over the place. And
he definitely has.
And we're going to get to ask him all that next week, which is fantastic.
Yeah. One of the questions I'm going to ask him is, how does he get his body prepared for extreme matches? Like, how do you get yourself psyched and warmed up for that? Because when you take damages in a match, how do you get yourself to absorb the pain? Like, what do you do?
Well, yeah, I mean, look, that's a great question to ask, Alex, because you go look back at, and we're going to talk about this with him next week. Look at his rivalry with Joey Janela was one of the better rivalries.
Yes, that was great.
I mean, I want to ask him the spot that he did where the chair was up on its legs and he was able to do the flip off the rope and the guy was able to lay on his back. Like, do you realize the risk that if you miss that move and if the guy, like, the chair leg would go through the guy? Like, do you realize that? Like, if you and the fact that guy had so much pressure, had so much trust in you to do that, I think is a blessing, because it shows the kind of guy he is in the business.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, we'll ask him all that.
But now it's time to get to our finishing move. And my finishing move is NXT TakeOver has been announced for February 14th, and Io Shirai will be defending her NXT Women's Championship against Mercedes Martinez and Toni Storm in a triple threat match.
Awesome job. That's a great idea by them. The Mercedes is so underrated, and Toni Storm, this was a long time coming. And of course, Io, you can make the case Io Shirai is the best women's wrestler on the planet. I mean, she's up there.
She's up there. She's definitely up there.
Yeah, she is. She definitely is.
Yeah. Lyle, your finishing move.
My finishing move, I pray to Lord that all the rumors of Jay White going to WWE were completely BS, because that would be the worst thing to happen in wrestling, and I would probably cry myself to sleep.
I don't know, man. They did show the ad with the Switchblade in the picture of the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, they've been hinting that he's still in New Japan.
And they showed
he's still advertised.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know though.
Well, he hasn't. Well, here's
still
the
advertised
thing.
in New Japan, and he's still the contract from the rumors.
Here's the thing: I haven't seen him compete in the New Beginning tour.
Yeah, because he's taking time off, but he's still he was advertised for New Japan Cup, but I hope that's true.
I don't know, man. That's a pretty random thing to post a blade on a Royal Rumble poster. I forget which. It was on a channel. It was on a commercial. I'll show you. I'll send you the picture out there. It was a switchblade that was put on the picture for the Royal Rumble ad. So I don't know. That seems like kind of random that happens. I don't think you put a switchblade for any wrestler that's on the main roster right now. I don't know. I'm just saying. I don't know.
That's it. Jay White's dead. He's dead to me.
Oh God.
He's
okay.
dead to me.
Yeah, well, you could go cry yourself to sleep and tell him that.
I will.
For me, the fishy move is look. The best pay-per-view WWE has, and one of the better pay-per-views, is the Royal Rumble because of the match. I love the match. I've always loved the match. And what this does is this now starts the road to WrestleMania. And what this does too is now you start to get into the good stuff with wrestling going forward for the year. Now you have stuff to talk about with WrestleMania, and then you got Revolution coming up, and Wrestle Kingdom just happened. This is really this time, and I would say the summertime are the main points for wrestling fans to be excited about.
I agree.
September to December, it's kind of dull. May and June are kind of blah, you know what I mean? But this is really an exciting time for wrestling. So the thing is, whether you like WWE or you hate WWE, you could talk about WWE now because now you're talking about storylines coming up for WrestleMania. What do you think they should do? Which route should they go? Which way are they going with this? Is this the right decision? This is a tougher year for WrestleMania than normal because last year it was easy for them because look, they did it in the at the Performance Center, and it was 2 nights, so they were able to get away with no fans if something was wrong. But this year it's going to be in front of a live audience, and it's 2 nights. So now
I wrote an article about WrestleMania and it's on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network blog page.
Alex, you've been writing like a maniac lately, man. Kudos to you, dude, for writing all the articles.
You've been doing a great job.
And Lyle's going to be, I know, writing soon for sure. Hopefully it's not garbage. You know what I mean? So, hopefully it's not garbage like Lyle's personality. So you got that.
I won't say it for radio. I don't want to get yelled at by Errol, so I'm not going to respond.
You don't be scared of him. What's the matter with you? Why are you kidding me?
Nah. I don't want to do it, man. I can't do it. I got to be polite.
You know what Errol is? Errol is a real narp sometimes. That's what Errol is. He's a narp. He with his opinion. That's what he is, okay? Talks about wrestling, saying that Macho Man wasn't better than Hulk Hogan. BS. Get the hell out of here. Go on.
First off, he thinks Hulk Hogan was a good wrestler, so...
No, he didn't say he was a good wrestler. He said he was an entertaining.
Said he was the greatest of all time.
Well, to be fair, his point with saying that was true in the sense that if not for Hulk Hogan, wrestling is not where it is today. Because
Hulk Hogan ruined wrestling.
No, he did not. Because Hulk Hogan from 87 to 1990. No, he did. From 1987 to 1992.
Yes, he did.
He generated wrestling and made it popular. So
no, he ruined it. He made WWE a cartoon company.
Oh, God's sakes. Let me tell you something. If you were around from 87 to 1992, you'd be one of those NARP fans I'd be cheering when he does the leg drop too. So shut up. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, really quick. I know we're over our time, but really quick, couple of quick announcements we're going to get to. Again, March 2nd will be our new start time and day. Tuesdays, 8 to 10 p.m. It's on the ticker. Alex put 8 to 10 p.m. We are moving Tuesday nights. It's exciting. Next week,
can't wait.
Leo Rush, current MLW middleweight champion and former NXT cruiserweight champion. 2 weeks, Raj Jerry, WrestlingInc.com owner. He's going to give us insight on what he's hearing backstage about WrestleMania news, everything that he's hearing in the rumor mill. 3 weeks, we have former Ring of Honor television champion and current #1 contender for the ROH Heavyweight Championship belt, Shane Taylor. And then that will be our last Saturday show that we have. Alex, how can the fans reach us on Twitter and Facebook and all that good stuff?
So the fans can reach us on Facebook at OffTheMat WWSRN. Same for Twitter. You can find me and Josh and Lyle on Twitter. My Twitter is at ShowSlows. Josh's Twitter is at Josh Silverberg. And Lyle's Twitter is at LyleOTM.
Awesome. Perfect. And again, if you haven't done it already, download our app. Our app is free. Go to Apple. Just type in WWSRN. If you have an Android, go to the Google Play Store. Type in Worldwide Sports. Go to our website, worldwidesportsradio.com, as Alex alluded to. Articles on there. Alex wrote another good article for sure, so you want to check that out. You can, if you miss our show, you can rewatch our show. You could listen to it. Also, clips from the show. Don't forget, check out all the other programs that we have here. We're all over the place with different sports. So it's not just about wrestling. It's all sports shows and everything like that. And don't forget to tune in on Saturday night from 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock p.m. on 103.9 FM, Long Island News. And if you missed that, you could rewatch and listen to the show on the app. That's the Weekend Crunch with myself and the man who is unfortunately my co-host. That's Errol Marks. It's a very unfortunate situation that he's my co-host. It's a very somber thing when I have to watch him for 4 or 5 hours to record a show that's 2 hours long because he's annoying. You know, I don't care. Hey, you all act like I'm scared of the man. The dude lives 10 minutes away from my house. I can't give a damn what I say to him at this point. I'm already in too deep in the water. Okay, there's no going back with Errol at this point. All right, nah, I'm kidding. No, listen, Errol's great. He's working so hard at this network to really make
he
this
is doing a great job.
Yeah, he really is.
And the thing is, he brought me and Alex together. I've introduced Lyle to Alex. This show's only going to grow, and it's going to get better every single week. And we want to bring you the most entertaining show we can on this network every single Saturday for the next few weeks, and then every Tuesday night starting March 2nd. Because we're going prime time, boys. This is no little thing anymore. This is it. This is big time now.
This is it now.
All right, we're competing with Impact. Who has more? who's gonna have more viewership?
Us. Come on. Us. Yeah.
Impact
Definitely.
Impact on Twitch.
Us.
Okay. Who cares?
We're too sweet.
For Alex Lowe's, for Lyle Gillen, I want to thank you guys. Thank Jillian Cohen again for joining us too today. It was
Thank
awesome
you,
having her
Jillian.
on. Again, don't forget, Leo Rush will be joining us next week. A lot to talk about. Enjoy the Royal Rumble tomorrow night. Enjoy all the wrestling this week. We'll talk to you fans next week. For all of us here at Off the Mat, this is the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your weekend and stay safe.
Take care and spike your hair.
Oh,